Dear colleagues, I will also appreciate if you can turn on your cameras, but I understand that some of you are in the middle of coming back from work. We are happy to start our fifth seminar of Jewish studies at UKU, at Ukrainian Catholic University program, which is dedicated as previous for seminars to rural Jewry in history of Eastern Europe, and mostly so far we have focused on Galicia. And today we will continue to speak about Galicia but in the interwar period. And I am happy to greet a colleague of mine, whose name is Atsuto Anzai. He is a graduate student at the University of Tokyo. He also is finishing already his PhD, almost done. And Atsuto has spent some time at internship at Wrocław University and also visited us in Lviv at the Center for Urban History in Lviv. And he's also the author of the new book which is called The Complete History of Galicia. It is published in Japan. And congratulations. We are very happy that we have your book in our library. And few people asked me already in Ukraine, where can they get your book? So next time you come to Ukraine, be sure to bring more books to share, because people are very curious about it. So you can start, and if you wanna share your screen, you can also do it.
Okay. Доброго вечера. Перш за все, дуже дякую за запрошення на вашу університетську семінар. На жаль, ще не дуже добре розмовляю українською, тому дозволите мені говорити англійською. Дякую.
Твоя українська дуже добра, і нам дуже приємно чути від тебе українську. Дякуємо.
Okay, so let me share my screen. One moment. Okay. Can you see it?
No, so far we can see that you start. Oh, yeah, now we can see it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So today I will talk about one of a part of my dissertation project, which titled "Ethnic Consolidation Against Economic Marginalization: Jewish Entrepreneurship in Galician Dairy Farming during the interwar periods." And I also wrote an article which is also same title, and also already submitted an academic journal, and wait for the results now. My presentation is divided to the five parts, and so my dissertation is focused on the Jewish agriculture in the Galician regions from the late 19th century to the interwar period. And what is interesting to me is that the Jewish farmers in the Galician regions introduced a very how to say innovative marketing, and also the entrepreneurship in the agriculture field. And today I will talk about Jewish agriculture in the interwar period, especially from 1932 to 1935. This period, according to the previous studies, this period was a preparatory stage in the confrontations between the Polish government and also the national minorities, including Jews. And some scholars identify this period as the beginning of the disintegrations of the so-called Sanatsias camp, which kept a tolerant regime to integrate the multi-ethnic society into the multi-ethnic society to the more oppressive ones. And others point out, other scholars point out this period as a culmination of the Piłsudski's integration project, which is called the pro-state ideology. And the Jewish political circles sought to cooperate with the Polish government for the economic reforms by the end of the 1920s, but during the period of the 1930s, their disappointment with the government policies led to the more confrontation with the Polish government. The increasing confrontation between the Polish government and the Jewish communities led to the consolidations of the Jewish collective actions and organizations. Without almost governmental investments, Jewish merchants established their own cooperatives for the mutual financial help. And also, Galician Jewish farmers organized their own Jewish agriculture cooperatives and also organizations. And I will today I will focus on this Jewish side and also scrutinize their marketing strategies, and address the questions of how the Galician Jewish farmers trying to manage the farming by their selling the products to the Jewish urban population. And let me introduce some examples. And this is an advertisement of the so-called HEMA products. HEMA is HEMA means butter in Hebrew, and Galician Jewish farmers produces such daily products like cheese or also butter, which suited to the Jewish Jewish daily laws, so-called kosher laws, and kosher laws, and also advertise such products with distinctive advertisements. And this is also a front page of the statute of the Jewish Agricultural Society. And in Polish, Żydowskie Towarzystwo Rolnicze, and in Yiddish, Jiddische Landwirtschaft Gesellschaft, Iraq. This cooperative, this society was established in 1932, And this society has a branches in Lviv, Ternopil, and also Stanislavl voivodeship. So, against the background of the development of Jewish agriculture in Galicia, first I will talk about the emergence of the Jewish agriculture in during the Habsburg period. And and the characteristic of the Galician Jewish case is that um, there are there are several percentages of the Jewish workers which engaged in the agriculture during the Habsburg period. And sorry. Um, of course, the dominant occupations of the Galician Jewry were petty merchants, servants, artisans, and money launderers. And although the emancipation of Jews and the abolishment of the serfdom in 19th century Europe provided the Jews with opportunities to own lands and engage in agricultural activities, but in many cases, the Jewish urban population had little interest in such hard local labors. However, in Galicia, after the abolishment of the serfdom and the emancipation of Jews in 1869, there are several numbers of the Jewish landowners and also agriculturists appeared in the late 19th century. And according to the statistics, 40% of the Jewish workers engaged in the agriculture in Habsburg Galicia, compared to the Jewish workers in Russian Empire, which only consist of the 4%, but in Galicia it's 14%. And Jewish farmers engaged in small agriculture businesses connected with the urban markets. Um, Jewish farmers hired not only the Jewish, but also Polish and Ukrainian agricultural workers. And the Jewish landowners and the agriculturists joined in the Galician agriculture societies together with the Christian counterparts. And there are some memoirs of the Jewish landowners in Habsburg period, and one of them is Oscar Kofler's Żydowskie Dwory, and according to this memoirs, there are some characteristics of the Jewish landowners in Eastern Galician regions. And for example, the Jewish farmers or landowners took better care of the peasants than the Polish landowners, or also introduced new agricultural machinery into the economy, and also obtained comprehensive information about agriculture trades directly from the Jewish merchants. And And Oscar Kofler also stated that before the First World War, Polish-Ukrainian um, dispute, sorry, dispute or confrontation were evident in larger cities, especially in Lvov or in Lviv, but they reached the far countryside only very quickly. So on the other hand, ethnic cooperatives um, on the other hand, there are also um, rural movements, rural movements, and also um, the, the wave of the organization of agriculture cooperatives in Galicia. Polish politician Vincent Vitus was a very famous figure of the um, Polish popular movements and also peasant movements, and and in his memoirs there are some remarks on the Jewish and some remarks on the Jewish landowners and tenants, and he criticized such figures because the Jews were exploited the Polish peasants in the Galician regions, and Jewish landowners also exploited Polish lands and wood, hay, high coal, caravans, and all kinds of goods. And it and the Jews smuggled grain, horses, cattle, and etc. across the state borders. And so the ethnic agriculture cooperatives also had a character of the um, sorry also had a character of the exclusions of the Jewish rural Jewish moneylenders and also the petty merchants. And next, I will talk about the post-war development of the Jewish agriculture in Eastern Galicia. Eastern Galicia. After the First World War and the Polish-Ukrainian war, Eastern Galicia became under the Polish law, Polish rule. And 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 the words also had a significant and tangible impact on the Galician cityscape. In Lviv, Lvov, numbers of Jewish and Ukrainian population fled abroad, and buildings and infrastructures were severely damaged. The post-war economic recessions also deteriorated the employment of the Jewish populations. Because of unemployment and poverty, more Jewish people migrated from countryside to the urban areas and abroad. However, there are also some initiatives of the ethnic minorities to reconstruct the eastern borderland, including Eastern Galicia. And also there are some Jewish initiatives, and such initiatives were organized some Jewish international organizations took such in uh, played played significant role. For example, Jewish Colonization Association (JCA) and Joint and Alt and some Zionist organization in Galicia um, uh, took um, uh, took the formations of the relief works and also provided the financial help to the Jewish workers. And such financial help was concentrated, such financial help was also organized by the local Jewish fund named the Union of the Jewish Cooperative Societies. In Polish związek Polskiego Towarzystwo Spółdzielnia. And this union also organized the Jewish cooperatives in interwar Poland and provided the provide financial help with the Jewish workers. Sorry. I will, sorry. To the and about the Jewish agriculture of workers was supported by the some Jewish international organizations such as ICA or JCA and also OLT. And because of the support, there are some Jewish young people which who engaged in the agriculture appeared in the Galician regions. And for example, and Zvi Lieberman, Russian-born Jewish Hebrew writer, wrote as following when he visited Galicia in 1934. When I was told about Jewish farmers in Galicia, I expected that they were shopkeepers at best, who were able to deal with pieces of lands cultivated by non-Jews. That is why I was comfortably surprised that I found my expectation wrong. Everywhere I met Jewish farmers at work, average people with their wives and children in the fields without exception. It is worth emphasizing that even young girls show a very good orientation in the agricultural circles. And this showed the comparison of the annual income of the Jewish and non-Jewish agricultural laborers and farmers in interwar Poland. And according to this statistic, the Jewish agriculture workers, especially self-employment, got a slightly more high salary than the non-Jewish workers. So it can be estimated that the international Jewish the support of the international Jewish organizations uh, had a had a several had a positive effect on the Galician Jewish agriculture. However, Great Depression. After the Great Depression in 1929 and the economic crisis in in the late 1930s, the Galician Jewish farmers faced several difficulties. The first, the price decline of the agriculture products and bankrupt of the and the bankrupt of the farmers. Yeah, because of the great depressions, both agricultural laborers and farmers needed financial help. However, the Jewish international organizations also dealt with the deals with the task of the financial help in other countries, and and the Polish government provided very little support with the Jewish farmers. It can be said that it was an institutional exclusion of ethnic minorities from financial help from the Polish government because the Polish government Polish government basically provided the financial help with the agriculture cooperatives. However, Jewish farmers were excluded from the Polish agriculture, Polish cooperatives, and also the farmers' societies. Therefore, the Jewish colonization associations and the Galician Jewish farmers are cooperated to establish the Jewish agriculture and their own agriculture cooperatives. There are two figures who took this initiative. The first person is the Karol Harpan. Karol Harpan was a leader of the Jewish community of Stanislav Jewish societies, communities. And he was also an agronomist and landowner. And during the First World War, he was a member of the Joint Rescue Committees, and also organized also and he organized the first Jewish agribusiness and trade cooperatives called Malopolska Farmers Union in Lviv in 1922. And together with the Jewish colonization associations, he established the Jewish Agriculture Society, so Iraq and Zetia. And this society had its own journals, which named the periodical Jewish farmers in Yiddish Landwirt, or in Polish Rolnik Żydowski. And it was bilingual. And it was bilingual and the only agriculture magazines and in magazines for the Jewish agriculturists in Poland. And Henrik Heschel was also the second person who took the initiatives. He was famous for the local Zionist. Uh, he was famous for the uh, for his role of the uh, local Zionist leadership in review, but um, but he was also engaged in the he was also engaged in the uh, social activities and especially cooperative Jewish cooperative movement. And he became the head of the dairy and agriculture unions, HEMA, um, yeah, which means butter in Hebrew, and which joined which joined the Jewish Agriculture Society in 1933. And he also wrote he also wrote articles about the development of Jewish agriculture in Poland. So he tried to improve the Jewish lives and rebuilding and rebuild the Polish state through the farming. And the aim of the Jewish farmers unions or agriculture cooperatives is following. We Jews, of course, do not have the slightest intention of taking the land of the Polish or Ukrainian peasant, but we believe that with the application of the latest methods of work on land, with intensive farming, with adaptation agriculture techniques, and to cultivate the wastelands underwater, and so there will be enough space for us as well. So, and this is some figure as some numbers of the development of the Jewish agriculture societies and cooperatives. And Jewish agriculture societies had 72 agriculture circles, 12 in Lviv, 26 in Stanislavia, 14 in Ternopil, and 3 in Krakow. And the number of the Jewish farmers is falling. 13 about 30,000 in Stanislavia, 20,000 in Lviv, 7,000 in Ternopil, and 7,000 in Krakow. Jewish farmers also advertise their own agricultural products to the local market. And yeah, these are photos of the the products Jewish farmers produce. And then I will turn to the plans and strategies of Jewish dairy farming. And dairy farming is a very in our period, the dairy farming is regarded as the most productive way of the of the of the farming. But the problem is that due to the Great Depression in 1929, the all agricultural products um, uh, the price of the agricultural products declined. However, the Jewish and the Jewish farmers opposed uh, to the decrease of the agriculture prices, and also opposed the selling the products in dumping way. And quote from the uh, Jewish Jewish Farmers magazine, but always keep in mind the fundamental thesis that without guaranteeing the sustainable profitability of agriculture production, agriculture cannot be healed by any other method. Regardless of the determination of one or another agrarian policy, our agriculture must strive to obtain the highest prices on domestic markets. So, but how to keep the how to keep the agriculture products um, in um, in high prices. So the Galician Jewish farmers took an innovative marketing method, which is the um, which which is that the dairy products suited to the kosher standards. And if the farmers sold their products to the kosher standards, Orthodox Jews in the urban areas could purchase such products and became the consumers of Galician Jewish cooperatives as regular and also could be regular customers for uh, for Jewish uh, for Jewish farmers. So the question, so the uh, Jewish agriculture cooperatives, HEMAR, made several advertisements of their own products, and which had a trademark, which had its own trademark. And yeah, and this marks symbolizes the kosher approval. And what is interesting is that the HEMA cooperative also contacted with the Palestinian side and also try to export their own HEMA products to Palestine in order to expand the market. And HEMA and the Jewish HEMA cooperative also has their own stores in Lviv, Saint Lviv, and also Colombia. And there are 5 shops in there are sorry yes, and there are 5 shops in the entire East Galician regions. There are the HEMA cooperatives also made their own advertisement in several Jewish newspapers, and this is the Zionist newspapers in 1934. And the HEMA products were also and the Galician Jewish farmers also promoted their own products as as a most hygienic with the most hygienic qualities. So what is so it is very difficult. It is very difficult for us to estimate such effect of the advertisement and also the such marketing. Um, but I also calculated the profitability of the Jewish agriculture product, Jewish the products, and compared with the Polish and Ukrainian counterparts. And as you see the statistics, it can be said that the Jewish products is the highest profitability of the uh, uh, of the process compared to the other ones. So um so sorry. Last part, in the last part, I will talk about the struggle of the ethnic minorities against Polish economic etatism. After the establishment of the Jewish agriculture products, there are some interventions of the Polish state. From 1934 to 1935, the Polish government to try to separate the Jewish, Jewish daily cooperative from the control of the sorry, it is not Jewish farmers, Jewish Jewish audit cooperatives, and then try to incorporate to the Polish counterpart. And in 1936, in March, there are also the bill to limit the production of kosher meat, which was legislated in the same month. And in April, in 1936, there are also new daily law, which also try to limit the activities of the cooperative and daily cooperatives of ethnic minorities. There are some there are some oppositions and denunciations of the Polish farmers against the Jewish agriculture, Jewish farmers and agriculture cooperatives. Quote from the Polish magazine: "The Jews are picking up the land vigorously, and then and they also purchase the farms, and they continue purchase the Polish lands and the farms." And others articles stated that the Jews are solidary and obedient, and they obedient to their their own cooperative. So they should buy only from their own Galician Jewish farmers. Therefore, dairy cooperatives may soon take over the supply of the dairy products for the Jewish population. So the competition with them will be very difficult. And Jewish Galician Jewish farmers are took also very severe reactions against the Polish farmers, against the oppositional attitude of the Polish farmers. And they also insisted that the task of the Jewish cooperatives does not contradict the general interest of the Polish state, and on the contrary, it coincides with it coincides with the Polish interest. And also there is some oppositional attitude of the Ukrainian cooperatives against the Jewish farmers. But the Galician Jewish farmers also insisted that they defend their own right to work productively together with all others who live in this country or in the nation. And but it does not mean that the Galician Jewish farmers always competed with the other farmers. There is also the corporations of the Jewish and Ukrainian cooperatives. It was a time of the 1936. The Polish government tried to enact a new daily law, and it consolidated all daily cooperatives into regional agriculture chambers and limited the number of the daily cooperatives in one voivodeship through the license systems. And this law caused harsh reactions from ethnic minorities and such as Ukrainians and Jews. And to oppose the law, that Jewish farmers cited and favored an article of the Ukrainian Ukrainian papers and political papers and deal. And also and the magazine, the Jewish farmers also made an advertisement of the Ukrainian dairy cooperatives, Maslow Soyuz, in the Maslow Soyuz in its the magazine of the Jewish farmers. And the deal also criticized the anti-Semitic movement in Poland in the article of the May 1930 and in May 1937, and the Jewish farmers also favored and also favored this stance. So this is an overview of my research project, and it in concluding remarks, and the Galician Jewish farmers modeled the strategies of agriculture cooperatives, such as Polish and Ukrainian ones, but the marketing strategies of using the religious customers and religious kosher laws was unique to the Jewish case. And in terms of the ethnicity and the economy, the project of Jewish agriculture cooperative was an attempt to define and categorize the producers and the consumers and as whole ethnic group. And in this case, the Jewish ethnicity was not framed solely by language or religions, but by economic networks between Galician dairy farmers and Orthodox consumers. And the Jewish agriculture cooperatives attempt to consolidate the Jewish ethnicity and against the economic marginalization from the Polish market. And such consolidations and marginalization, however, also caused further economic segregation of the Jewish people, which can be seen that legislations of the daily law or the ban of the kosher meat in 1936. Okay. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Thank you for the thank you for listening to the lecture.
Thank you so much, Atsuto. And I opening the floor for the questions and for the discussion. I was making notes, and so first of all, perhaps you are. I have a few questions. So my first question is, why Galicia is different? Is it why do we have so many Jewish farmers, so many people living in the villages, and also how is it different from the rest of Poland? Do we see such cooperation in the other voivodeship of Second Polish Republic? So that's my first question. And the second question, I didn't quite understand. So where are these cooperatives were located physically? Were they in the villages or in the shtetls, and how did they find employers? So who worked? Were they like people living shtetl Jews employed in the cooperatives? Can you elaborate on this?
Yes, thank you. About the first questions, yes, I can say that the Galician case is very exceptional, very exceptional for the development of the Jewish development of the Jewish agriculture, because Jewish emancipation of the Galician region succeeded in 1867, and the Galician Jews were able to purchase their own lands, and also there were no more restrictions of the occupation and occupational jobs against the Jews. So they were able to choose their agriculture occupations. Of course, not all the Jewish landowners engaged in agriculture. However, yeah, as I showed, the Kofra family or Harpan family, yeah, they engaged in the agriculture and also, yeah, the profits from such management. Uh, I th yeah, I think this is a part of the reasons. And and about the second questions, and yes, and the Jewish agriculture cooperatives were mainly concentrated in the East Galicia and sorry, and in East borderland of the Second Polish Republics. So not only the Eastern Galicia, but also the um, yes, the so-called Kresy in Polish of the Vilnius and also Western Belarusian regions. And because the Jewish colonization associations and also old associations took the initiatives of the Jewish agriculture colonization in these regions. But what is characteristics of the Galician case is that not only the Jewish agriculture workers, but also the Jewish landowners. So the farmers engaged in the or participated in the cooperatives project. So and yes, and such cooperatives were only seen in the Lviv or Ternopil or Stanislavl voivodeship. Yes.
Thank you. I have more questions, but I see I want to welcome everyone to ask or to comment something, and I see Professor Herzog raises his hand.
Thank you so much, Lada, for organizing this event, and thank you for your interesting presentation. I myself came from a village, and there's two families, Jewish families being there. They remember there. They were working in this kind of cooperative. They were Ukrainian speaking, by the way. So my question is, what happened to these families, basically, because they found themselves in an environment which was largely non-Jewish. So do they tend to assimilate or not? The story is that they don't have a synagogue close. They have to travel several kilometers, 10 or even more, to attend the synagogue on Shabbat. So I wonder what's going on in their families, and especially what's going on with their kids. Do we have any family stories of this kind of assimilation? Was it kind of really a case, or was this some exceptional? This is my question.
Yes, thank you very much for the questions. Yes, yes, in the Habsburg period, the Jewish farmers or landowners hired not only the Jewish agriculture workers, but also the Polish and Ukrainian Ukrainian ones. And so and yeah, I'm very I'm very sorry for not mentioning the difference of the of the the case of the Galician Jewry in Habsburg period and also the interwar period. The difference is that in the interwar period there are more and more Jewish agriculture workers which were hired in the Jewish farmers were hired by the Jewish farmers and Jewish landowners. Because the Jewish farmers and landowners were excluded from the Polish agriculture societies, and also they didn't get enough financial support from the Polish government. So some of the Jewish farmers face the financial crisis and even the bankruptcy. So the Jewish Agriculture Association provided the financial help with the with the Galician Jewish farmers. But in this case, the Jewish Colonization Association mainly supported or helped the Jewish workers and not the Jewish wealthy farmers or landowners. So in exchange of the getting the financial help from the Jewish colonization associations, Jewish farmers hired the Jewish agriculture workers and also the mainly Jewish young people. So I think this is also the characteristic of the Galician Jewish farming in interwar periods. I hope I can I could answer your question, but
Yes, I want to redirect this question, or perhaps redirect Professor Hycak to Nadia Skokova research and our seminar, our second seminar in this series, when Nadia spoke about schooling and religion of rural Jews and how they were disconnected from the communities in the shtetls, and so they basically were the very peculiar type of Jews, very different from those who lived in shtetl. I don't know, maybe Nadia wants to add something.
I wasn't very organized today to make any presentation but I tried to characterize my observation during my research. Since I try to understand what was a phenomenon of rural Jews in Sub-Carpathian region, I try to understand how they fulfilled every social need they have. And typically, they were very, I would say, accustomed to live with Ukraine. It was typically a Jewish Ukrainian society because in this area, in Sub-Carpathian region, was very few Polish population. However, it's hard to talk about assimilation of rural Jews into Ukrainian society. It was definitely...
It's not about assimilation, linguistic assimilation, not talking about ethnic assimilation.
It was.
Linguistic.
I have... linguistically, it was... I read a memoir of Alexander Granach, and it was like probably the most vivid and like explanation how Jews lived with Ukrainians, and he described a situation when he came to live in Horodinka, in the very close small town. In local town Jews joked that the Yiddish was very Ukrainized. It was like it was totally too much of Ukrainian words in the Yiddish, and however, to some point, Jews in villages, they don't need to go to synagogue, but they have a very small community to make prayers, and they believe more in tradition of Hasidism rites, and they somehow maintain their own religious right in the villages in most cases. When we talk about Austrian period, or the same about the Polish one. But it was completely unique cultural existence.
Yes, thank you for your comments. I also found that the Jewish colonization associations supported the Jewish agriculture workers in sub-Carpathian regions and also yeah, sub-Carpathian regions at first. And the support of the Galician Jewish farmers in Lviv or Stanislavia or in Ternopil regions was um, started only after the 1929, so the Great Depression. So, and so yeah, it can be said that the support of the support of the JCA or other Jewish international organizations main in the beginning focused on the very a very rural regions or areas, but it extended to the more urban areas after 1929 or in the 1930s. Maybe, yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to ask more about the support of international organizations. So what kind of support it was? Was it like I know about school for agriculture in Slobodka Leśna in near Stanislavov. So maybe you can tell more about the schooling, about the educational, and what other kind of support it was.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the Jewish Colonization Association established agricultural schools in the Habsburg period, but in the 1930s it extended the educational institutions and also promoted the agriculture training among the young workers. And this, such project was also supported by the Zionist, local Zionist camps. Yeah, to emigrate to Palestine.
Okay, so did they support more people who were staying, or more people, or was it rather the training to live for Palestine?
Yeah. It was a problem. Sorry, it was the point, and I also read an article about the different attitudes of the Jewish among the Jewish farmers toward political stance of the Zionism in the Zionism. And this article was written in the late 1930s. And according to the article, the old generation of the Jewish farmers, they are born in Habsburg period, had a kind of a very how to say the very difficult mixed attitude toward the to Zionism and also immigration to Palestine, because yes, some of them also wanted to stay in the Galician region. However, the younger generations of the Galician Jewish agricultures were more inclined to the immigration to Palestine, and they also are trained and as the and they were also trained and as the for the preparation for the preparation of the immigration to Palestine, so which is Hakshara. in Hebrew.
Okay, if you have someone has more questions or comments. Because I have endless amount of questions, but I have I want when I was researching the area of Carpathians, I was reading Ukrainian newspapers, and you spoke about cooperation between Maslow Soyuz and Jewish cooperatives, and you spoke that it was not always antagonism. However, I found articles that described Hakshara in Carpathian area in some villages and was very critical of it. Yes, so Ukrainian newspapers were very critical of Jews going to countryside, not even because of the fear of competition, but because they just thought it's something inappropriate and the Jews are not are not doing it properly, and they are disturbing the area with the Hakshara. So it was very critical, very critical attitude. And so can you give us the more of the spectrum of these attitudes between Ukrainians who are also minority? Yes, because there is Polish state and one minority, but here is the connection between two minorities. Can you speak more about the relations between them?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. There are, of course, there are in many cases about the and also there are different attitudes between the Jewish farmers and sorry, and the Jewish farmers and the Ukrainian farmers or peasants, and yes, sometimes which is also antagonistic because of the Hakshara in the countryside, and now I'm what is now interesting to me is that of, uh, despite such antagonism or oppositional attitude between the both sides, they also how to say they are also changing 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 phase of the relation of this relationship in 1936. It was the time of the legislation of the new daily law, and because this daily law not only influenced the development of the Jewish daily agriculture, but also the Ukrainian ones. And Galician Jewish farmers didn't made their own cooperatives or agriculture association in Habsburg period. So yeah, in my view, there are also anti-Semitism and also rural anti-Semitism in Galician regions, but it can be said that it was how to say the Jewish question. It was a Jewish question. But in interwar period, the Jewish farmers established their own cooperatives. So it means that the Jewish it means that Jewish Christians were the problem has also how to say some and the theme of the or the subject of the Jewish questions became more national and became the more the question of the national minorities and including the Ukrainians, because the Ukrainians farmers or peasants also their own cooperatives and agricultural societies. So so the new daily law, in 1936 try to limit to try to limit the numbers of the agriculture cooperatives of ethnic minorities. So yes, it can be said that the Jewish, there are some possibilities of the cooperation of the Jewish farmers and also the Ukrainian ones. I hope you understand my opinion.
Okay, thank you. And we have a new question from Tomasz.
Hello. I'd like to ask about one more perspective on relations. What were the Jewish relations? I mean, you said that the Jewish cooperatives were also targeting the Jewish Orthodoxes as clients. Did you find any opinions of the Orthodox Jews on this kind of production? Because it's interesting to see Orthodox Jews buying products produced by Zionists. And was that an issue here? How Jewish cooperatives were successful in targeting Orthodox communities, and why would an Orthodox Jew buy a Zionist product rather than stay with the previous suppliers, which were probably, I don't know, depends on the type of a product, Ukrainian peasants or regular Jewish farmers, milkmen. Did you find any Orthodox opinions on that?
Thank you for your question. Yes. Yes. Now I'm searching. Yes, the Jews relations. I'm now searching for the some sources or materials. Yeah. Regarding the Jews relations now, and for now, I think the but for now, I think the Galicia and the Jewish Orthodox has a relatively positive attitude to the this kind of the new marketing because the Jewish agricultural cooperatives also included the Orthodox Jews who engaged originally engaged in the agriculture, and they produced their products for their own. So didn't sell the product to other customers, but such Orthodox Jews who lived in the rural areas and engaged in agriculture also had found the possibilities to their own products to sell their own products to the urban populations through the cooperatives. So yes, but it may be said that there are also other different opinions or attitudes of the Orthodox side.
Thank you.
Maybe maybe this Jewish agriculture cooperatives not only included Orthodox Jews, but also Zionist Jews. And they they cooperated with each other in the cooperatives, but it seems that there are also some contradictions or confrontations between.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think it will be cruel to keep you more in the middle of Tokyo night. So thank you so much, because your lecture and your research is very eye-opening, and it offers this very different perspective on 1930s as a period where you see cooperation in places where you did not expect to see them. So thank you so much. We are waiting for your article and waiting for your dissertation. And thank you, and I invite you all to follow the webpage of Jewish Studies at UKU, where we will have announcements about our next seminars.